What is up, guys, and welcome to the Meeple Minded podcast, the podcast where we talk all things tabletop gaming. My name is Jason.
I'm James.
And I'm Ant.
How are you doing this week, guys?
Yeah.
Aren't we an enthusiastic bunch?
Enthusiasm here, guys. It's me, full of energy for the seemingly the first time ever. But yeah, you just both a bit meh today.
The caffeine hasn't hit yet.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I'll let you off then. And you've been busy with work, haven't
And
you?
I'm
You've
just
got
working, so I'm knackered. So,
Yeah.
But I'm still here. And I'm here, ready for this week's episode.
Yeah, you didn't get to game with us this week.
Didn't know.
You missed out on some fun and games.
No.
You got to miss out on playing on a custom playmat.
And I missed out on Tower Up, which I'm really annoyed about as well. So,
yes.
but hey, I'm
Tower Up was great, wasn't it?
It was.
Tower
It was
Up was
absolutely brilliant.
This is probably the best game night we've had in, I don't know, 5-6 years.
Oh, we'll be talking about this one for years to come.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%. It wasn't that good. All right. I was trying to make you feel bad, but you just, you didn't seem that phased.
I love the fact that Ant's just like, meh.
Yeah.
No, I am genuinely like, ticked off. I missed out on it. It's like as soon as you put it on the WhatsApp, we're playing Tower Up. I'm like, well, I'm guessing I have to miss out this week, aren't I? But it is what it is. I can't.
Well, it's not like it's going anywhere. Okay?
Exactly.
You know, spoiler alert, I enjoy playing it, so
it'll come to the table again.
It's not like it's going to be sold before you get a chance to play it.
I would like to point out at this point, Jason, I love how you had a big clear out to make room on your Calaxes, and
it's not even in the Calax.
Well, good luck getting it in there, because it's kind of sitting on top of a pile of boxes, because once again, you have no room.
Right now, I'm using the excuse of, that is the review pile. That's why it's there and separated. Doesn't matter that it can't fit on the other Calax, any of the Calax shelves, which are overflowing.
So what's that pile?
That's
Collecting dust pile.
I don't even have to look behind me to know.
I thought you were about to break into your usual thing of, what's that?
No, I didn't want to do that. That's the thing before we start, but I was just interested in what that pile was then.
Do you know what? I do actually have to have a look. What we got? That's sort of a review, or it's just stuff that doesn't fit on the shelf. Most of it's legendary.
Fair play.
So there's lots of that. I am hoping to come up with a new storage solution for that, so that I can get it all, because I found out the other day I'm actually missing quite a lot of the expansions. So that's something that needs to change.
But you actually got to buy more expansions, right?
I am.
All right.
I've now that I don't own the villains legendary anymore, I actually parted ways with it, which was very hard to do.
Yeah.
I now feel incomplete, so I now need to complete the rest of the legendary. And then I will be like the devil from the Pick of Death. Without the profanity that ensues afterwards.
I want to quote that so much.
It's such a bad movie, but it's so good.
It's brilliant. How dare you, sir? It's a great movie.
Yeah. But James, how have you been this week? You've actually been gaming.
I have, I know.
Did you? The world did sort of, knock itself off its axis yesterday.
Yeah. No, well, I couldn't get gaming in on Monday because I was completely and utterly wiped after work. I just sort of sat there and watched you guys play Tower Up while trying not to fall asleep.
Yes. I actually managed to play 3 games on Monday night. That never happens. It's been a great week for me. Really, really good week. I've done gaming 2 game nights. I've done some recording this week as well, which I'm very happy with. Now we're doing this tonight. So no gaming tonight, but it is still gaming themed. And I've already been told by by my partner that she wants to game this weekend. So it's win,
sir.
Win. What a week this is going to be. I've released a video this week after months of saying that I'm going to do it. So there's been a video release.
And it wasn't a vlog, it was an actual video.
It was an actual video. There's been 2 more recorded, ready to go. They're pretty much edited, ready to go. I haven't decided when I'm going to release them yet. I've got plans to do more. So we're on the up.
Watch this space.
Hopefully I can maintain it. but we'll see.
Nice.
Takes a lot of energy to get all that stuff done. So, yeah, there you go. We are going to do a topical today, guys. We are going to do a topical. We haven't done one of these for a while.
We haven't.
So, how do you feel about doing a topical?
No, I'm looking forward to it.
That didn't sound forced at all, did it?
Yes, Jason. You sent us the schedule like an hour ago.
Yeah, it's like when we're prepped more for it, I'd probably be a bit more, yes, I'm ready for this. But when it's like...
It was 12 hours ago that I sent...
But then he gave me a question where it's like, I don't actually have an answer for. So now I'm like, I'm just waiting for this to go, I don't know.
I mean, I told you what the topic was 12 hours ago. Granted, the questions that I've come up with have literally been thought of in the last hour, and I told you when you arrived. So you have had 10 minutes of
preparation folks. That's how far we get.
Yeah, that's how we roll.
Hey, Batman could beat the Joker on 10 minutes of prep. I'm sure we can do this.
I'm sure we can take out the Kingmaker.
I'm not sure about that, but we'll see how that goes. But shall we listen to the topical music for the first time in I don't even care to think how long.
Been a couple of months at least.
I think it has been, isn't it? It has. Even though we've done some topicals, I just keep forgetting to press the damn button. So
when you have major gaming conventions to go to as well, which takes up a huge chunk of the month and whatnot. So I think it's been a good couple of months.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It has been a good couple.
Hit that button, then.
Let's hit the button. Let's go. Yeah, you love it now. Little dancing. If ever
this comes on video, this needs to be like.
Well, I mean that conversation might well be coming in the future, guys.
There'll be like a little sidebar of Jason, and he'll be like, "Watch it, he'll do it."
Just watch it, and I won't turn the camera off for that. No, it's going in there, where you'll all get to see Ant doing his special moves.
But if I don't do it, you guys will be like, "What's up with him? Why is he not doing?"
Yeah, he's in a bad mood. Quick, turn the recording off. Find out what's wrong.
Exactly. So
it's fine. I'm sure I'm sure Jason's got a pokey stick around. He'll be like, "Hey, do the thing."
Yeah, he'll probably like zap me under the table or something. all right.
Do it. It's going to be weird because like if we ever do this on videos, I'm probably going to be in the center between you guys. It's going to be like high energy down one end of the table, all the way down to James, where like no energy, and it'd just be a slow slope of energy,
slow decline.
We'll have to
the scale of energy.
Exactly. We'll prop James up on the games that are behind him, so he at least looks like he's sat up properly.
So if you're in the middle, am I the active one every time? Then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I might stick some energy in there occasionally.
The occasional zapper.
Whenever I do it, I start with all the energy, and then as the episode goes on, it's catching up now. Going down.
So what's the topical about?
Right, anyway, let's talk about the topical. The topical this time has come from questions that I keep getting when I play my games at game days and so on and so forth, because I trick out all my games and all of the lovely upgrades and stuff that I do, and I know you upgrade games as well, but I quite often get the question of, oh yeah, the upgrades are nice, but are they really necessary?
Yes, discussion over.
Yeah. Is upgrading games necessary, Ant?
Yes.
Okay, James. Is upgrading games necessary?
No.
Topical discussion. Right, here we go. That wasn't planned. I was really hoping you were going to say no. And if you hadn't have said no, I would have immediately jumped down your throat because I know that you haven't upgraded your main game.
Nope.
So I am going to be quizzing you on that. So think of your answers well.
Why not, James?
Why not? Ant, let's go to you first.
Oh, no. I'm interested to know why the no.
You said no. You said
we'll get there.
You said yes. Therefore, you go first.
Yeah.
But then you disagreed, so we should. I'll go to the argument of why I said no. Yes.
No, I'm poking the bear. I'm going to give you a reason to say why it is, so that he can then disagree with you. And
all right, then go on.
This is why I'm still sat over this side of the table, because you guys could get all fisticuffs going on. It'd be brilliant. I'll turn the camera on. We'll get millions of views for that.
Hang on a minute. Do I get to make Ant rage in the studio rather than in his car?
Well, we're yet to do that, to be fair.
It's still a thing to do, yeah.
It is. But no, let's talk about upgrades, because I'm kind of on the fence about it. Like, I love upgrading my games, but I have different reasons that I upgrade games. So, first off, I guess when I say upgrading games to you, Ant, what pops into your mind when you think of upgrading a game?
So it's basically deluxe components more. Like the retail version is usually just cardboard or wood, whereas the deluxe goes up to plastic, metal, mats or whatever sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I've said this before about the retail version. I always feel like the deluxe editions were always the original concept for the game. But obviously people can't always afford a deluxe edition of it.
Yeah.
And I feel like the retail version is always like the dumbed down, cheaper version of what the actual game is meant to be.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why have those components to start with? Why have a deluxe edition if it wasn't always the original in the first place?
Yeah. I can understand.
So that's why I kind of. I mean, I want to talk about a specific game in a minute, but we'll come to that in a second.
Yeah. What about you, James? If I was to say upgrading games, what pops into your mind? And obviously we will talk about the games that we've upgraded at some point and the games that you haven't, and so forth.
Yeah, we were talking about this before we went live, but yeah, it could be anything, like, to echo what Ant said, from upgraded components, from the basic ones, neoprene mats instead of boards. Box inserts I would put in there if the game didn't come with a box insert. So another sort of quality of life upgrades. Tokens, metal coins. Most games come with punchboard tokens representing money, so a nice set of metal coins is quite a common one. And then you've also got all the third-party ones as well, not just the official ones, like you get 3D printed miniatures and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
certain
Etsy,
games.
Etsy stuff. So if obviously when I've said that, your instant thing is, so it's I guess material upgrades when it comes to a game and visual upgrades, things like that. But would you class something? I know we've talked about it in the past a little bit, but would you class like expansions as an upgrade for a game? I
mean, it's an interesting question, isn't it? Because technically, anything that adds to the base game is an upgrade. But I also, by the same token, think that expansions fall into their own category.
Yeah. Because when you buy an expansion, you're buying an expansion. You're not buying an upgrade.
Yeah, you're buying the longevity of the game, really, aren't you? But if it comes with an extra, let's say I have the core retail edition, but the expansion comes with deluxe pieces, then that's now another reason why I've got to upgrade my core edition now. Yeah. Because now my wooden pieces are now mixed with plastic pieces and it just doesn't come out right. So that'd probably be another reason why you could call an expansion an upgrade as well.
Yeah. So when I think of expansions as upgrades, the game that actually immediately jumps into my head is Dynagenics. I think Control Chaos could, because you get that extra board and all those extra, you are literally upgrading the game with new functionality. So yes, expansions could be classed as upgrades, but they're so big, they're usually so big that they deserve their own category. No, I would actually agree with you. Like, I don't personally view expansions as upgrades for the game. Yes, you could argue it is upgrading the gameplay, but I just feel expanding the gameplay is actually closer to what it actually is. It is its own category. And I think you'll find most people, when you say about upgrading a game, they're referring to components.
Yeah. And there's obviously some expansions that have come out. One that sticks out in my mind would be the Azul expansions, for example, where the expansion is nothing but a plastic clip-on thing over the player board that holds the pieces in place. So it's a cosmetic or quality of life expansion. That to me is an upgrade, not an expansion. But obviously they've released it as an expansion. It's like, well,
it's not expanding the gameplay though. It's upgrading a component that, in your example, should have been there to start with.
Yes, exactly. So I guess for this episode where we're talking about upgrading games, we can kind of eliminate any kind of expansion.
Okay.
Well, I guess for the most part, there might be a few that, I can think of one off the top of my head that James was probably going to have to mention because it is an upgrading expansion.
Okay.
So We might talk about it a little bit, but I think if you're talking about your air quotes normal expansion where you're expanding the game, I think they're not upgrades for me. Now I sort of break my upgrades down into a few categories. James has already covered up some of them, which is things like quality of life upgrades, which just make either gameplay easier or setup easier. For example, you talked about box inserts. We all know I'm a big fan of box inserts. You got things like token upgrades as well. I know we'll probably talk about those a bit later.
Yeah.
So that's the sort of thing I'm talking about with quality of life. You've also got things like visual upgrades, and that could be something as simple as stickers.
Yep.
For a Meeple. It's not changing the gameplay, but it's visually making the game a bit more appealing. Or it should be. Maybe it won't. Who knows? And then you've got things like protective upgrades. So that's where I'm going to start talking about things like card sleeves and
I was going to ask that,
laminating boards and stuff like that. Would you class those as upgrades?
Yeah, the sticker side, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I'm not a big fan of the normal Meeple shape. I think, considering how long board games have been around now and stuff, I think Meeples can be upgraded to look like the things that they're meant to be. Like, for example, Champions of Midgard as normal Meeples. There is no reason why those Meeples could be shaped like a Viking, like with the Viking hat or something. Yeah. But they're not. They're just standard Meeples. So if I want to change it up, I would buy stickers for that to upgrade it. Yeah. I think I've done it with White Castle recently as well.
Yep.
Because even though they are unique to shape of the certain people who use in the game, they're just bland. They're boring. I just need something to give it a little more presence, like you said, Yeah. So, I'm all for the sticker upgrade, but that's only a recent thing I've done that with. So.
See, I've done that a few times. Like the first rat, I upgraded with stickers. Right. Just the rat Meeples are fine as they were, but adding in the actual picture of it. At the end of the day, putting a sticker on a Meeple or something like that is akin to screen printed Meeples.
Yeah.
Which are something that come through on upgraded games quite regularly nowadays. I've done it with my Dynogenics. I've got printed dinosaurs now on my Meeples. Now, that I will bring up a bit later, because do I think that is an upgrade that I should have done? Maybe I have some regrets about that. I don't know.
Okay.
Some days I look at it and go, yeah, that was an upgrade, well done. And then other days I'm like, no, it's kind of kidified it a bit. But, there you go.
Interesting.
But
the card sleeve side, is that an upgrade, or are you just there just to protect your cards?
Yeah.
Well, like we mentioned about the game night episode we did, like people eating food and stuff. Are you doing that just to actually protect your cards and stuff, really, and whatnot?
I would say yes, they are upgrades because they don't come with the game.
Yeah.
If anything that you are putting on, even though its purpose is protective, you are upgrading from a basic card to a sleeved card. So I would say that falls into the umbrella of upgrade.
Looking on the extreme side of that, there's nothing to say that you could somehow scan in all of the cards that you've got and upgrade them by paying for waterproof cards to be printed. And that would indeed be an upgrade. It's an expensive upgrade. So how's that different from me putting it in a cheaper card sleeve to cut my cost down on that upgrade? Yeah,
money.
So for me, it is an upgrade. Is it a necessary? And that's where the necessity of these upgrades come in. So it's like that to me, as a card sleeve fiend, shall we say, I like to sleeve my games. I like to protect them. And that is an upgrade that I view as a necessity to protect my game from all the dirty, scummy hands that touch my games. So
to protect them, not upgrade them.
Exactly. But
it's still an upgrade, though. You're going from an unprotected card to a protected card.
Yes. No sleeve, no love.
No sleeve, no game.
No sleeve, no game. There you go. But would I view that as, I say it's a necessity. Yes, it's a necessity to keep me sane. Is it a necessity for the game to be played? No, it's not. That's the quandary I have here.
When it comes to card sleeves, for me, if it's a game I know is going to get regular play, that's one upgrade, quote unquote, that I would say is necessity. not just because of that, but just to prolong the life of the cards and keep the game enjoyable. Because most games that have cards, the cards are going to be in a deck. You're not supposed to know what's coming out, but as they get worn and frayed, you can't help. You're going to know which card is which. Oh, it's got that bit of damage on. I know what that card is. Whereas the sleeve is just going to prolong the life of the game. Yeah. If it's being played regularly. If it's being played once in a blue moon, I would say no, it's not a necessity. And card sleeves are expensive, so I wouldn't recommend it, because if it's not being played that often, then the cards aren't going to get damaged. But yeah, if it's regularly played, or you know it's going to see the table a lot, then yes, the necessity meter starts to creep up. Yeah. And I would say, again, a perfect example of the sleeves being a necessity would actually be tournament players of things like Pokemon, where it's actually mandated that your cards must be sleeved when entering tournaments. So it's like, well, if it's mandated, then surely they should come with the game, right? But if they don't, it's an upgrade, but it's a necessity, a necessary upgrade, because you're being forced to sleeve them. So it's swings and roundabouts on that one. I'd say tournaments are their own category completely, because that's just the rules that they have decided on. It's like it's not necessary for your average player to sleeve the Pokemon cards, but yes, if you want to play the tournament, you have to abide by the rules, and if the rules say sleeve it, you got to sleeve it.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about some games that we have upgraded, some that we haven't, looking at James, and try and figure out what it is that actually makes us want to upgrade a game. Because I know that I have upgraded multiple games for different reasons. So, and again, coming back to you, we all know about your playmat addiction. So
it is a problem.
So we will try and look past that, because I also have that addiction.
I was about to say, that's a bit rich coming from the person who's got a custom holder on the back of the door.
I think we said this a couple of weeks ago, as I have an addiction and has a problem. So, but either way, we both have a neoprene.
That needs to be on a t-shirt.
It does. So what makes you want to upgrade a game? Can you think of any that you have upgraded, and what have you upgraded in them and why?
So I'm talking back about a specific game that I wanted to talk about, I said in the beginning of the episode. So River Valley Glassworks.
Yep.
I saw this on YouTube and saw what the components were like. Okay. And this is the deluxe edition we have. I thought this was the actual retail version of it. So when I went and bought this at Essen, I didn't realize that it was just a standard retail, and it was god ugly without it.
Right.
So like the River, for example, a glass piece in the deluxe, and in the original they're just cardboard, and it looks like it's a muddy river, not a clear river like it was meant to be there, and it looks just downright awful. So I had to get the deluxe because it was just way better, and that's probably a majority of the reasons why I upgrade components. Let's talk about Flamecraft, for example. Everything is just cardboard, or wooden, whereas why not upgrade it to plastic and metal and what it should look like? Because it has a much better table presence. And when I'm trying to introduce games to people, I would like them to see the fancy stuff, in honesty. I mean, if it's a simple, basic gateway game, I might not upgrade it. But if I'm trying to get them to come to game nights more and, play games with better pieces, that's what I'll go with straight away, because that's what is the pop. It's going to bring people in, and it's going to be like, oh, what is this? And
you kind of want them to see the best of what the industry can do.
What you can do, absolutely. Okay. And then if they say, oh, these pieces are like this, and then I'll explain, well, actually, they are upgrades and whatnot. I mean, this is what it actually looks like. And then they'll probably go, well, this is better version of it. So that's more my reason why I upgrade a majority of mine.
Nice.
So, and the fact that, sometimes it's advertised wrong. So, of course I want that one, because that's the version I've seen. I thought that was the version that came with it. Yeah.
That is fair. So, would you say that that's come from, I guess, a history of the differences between deluxe and retail versions? You've kind of been a bit spoiled and seen what the best is, and now you don't really want to settle for anything less than the best.
I mean, for me, because I've come into this hobby quite late compared to the two of you, but when I was getting my Nemesis copies and all that sort of stuff, I didn't realize there were Kickstarter editions, deluxe editions, or I thought the copy was just a copy.
Yeah.
So when I managed to get these copies, they were sun dropped and all that sort of stuff. And I never knew what the difference was or anything. So I came into it knowing deluxe edition straight away.
Yeah.
And then as the hobby's got better, now I've seen the differences and whatnot. And I don't think I've gone back since, unless I have to require Age of Comics, for example. Bought that retail, and then I ended up upgrading the components to that in the end because I knew they were available.
Yeah.
Same with Scythe and whatnot. So,
but talking of Age of Comics, did you find that those upgrades changed the game in any way, or was it just purely I want the best?
Yeah, I mean, I know it's simple little things that most people don't, but to me, like metal coins, for example, they're paper coins in this. They're not meant to be paper. They're coins. They're meant to be metal. So for me, that's a big issue for me because that's what they're meant to be.
Yeah.
And I think they'll always be better. I'll always go for metal coins regardless.
Yeah.
But they're not meant to be cardboard at the end of the day. And I just have a big gripe with that. It really does bug me. It's like if it wasn't, it should have been in the original edition, and then obviously the other upgrades would be different. But but it costs, obviously it's going to cost a lot of money. And
exactly. So let's talk to someone who hasn't, by rights, upgraded their game, because let's be honest, James, you've only really got one. We'll overlook the second game that you purchased because you haven't actually played it, you haven't learnt it. It's been sat on my shelf since you got it.
I have learnt it. Lies, Jason, lies. I sat here one night after UKGE while we were waiting to record and learnt the game.
We haven't played it yet.
We haven't played it yet because it's in the pile of stuff. It's in the queue.
All right.
And it's a big queue.
It is.
It's a gigantic queue. And, you keep getting
more
games given with deadlines, which kind of take precedent.
This is very true. Very true. But anyway, let's talk about your games, James, because you haven't really upgraded any of your games, have you?
No, minus a box insert for said second game.
Okay. I mean, that's a good point. You bought a box insert and you mentioned that you view as a box insert as an upgrade.
Yes.
So what made you want to buy that, air quote, upgrade for... It was Autobahn, wasn't it?
It was Autobahn.
That you bought that for. Would you say it was a necessity? Did it change anything?
From what I can remember, because obviously I put the game straight into the insert, for that particular game, yes, because I don't think it had any kind of insert in it.
No.
Really? I didn't know.
I think all the...
Alley Cat Games, isn't it? They never provide
so it would have been everything loose in the box in baggies. So that's a very personal thing to me. It's like I can't stand baggies.
No, I'm the same. Everyone knows this,
So I decided after seeing the inside of it, no, that needs a proper insert. And I went with the folded space, which also doubles up, means all the components are in individual trays, so it cuts down the setup time because it's literally just
bang trays out.
Here's your stuff, all in nice trays, and yet it stops everything from being loose and rattling around in the box. There are some games that come with perfectly serviceable inserts off the bat, so that makes the upgraded box inserts more of a luxury than a necessity.
Yeah.
But in that particular case, I would view it as more of a necessity because, like I said, everything would have literally been loose in baggies.
Yeah. So would you say that is more a quality of life type of an upgrade? So it makes it easier when setting up.
That's definitely part of it, but also... there's just too much risk. If a baggie opens, that means that all those components are literally rattling around loose in the box. It's like it needs something to keep everything together and secure.
Yeah.
To me, and there's no even attempt at a solution from the original game. So in that particular case, necessity. Most games come with some kind of storage solution in them.
Yeah. As terrible as they may be, you usually get some.
But they're serviceable.
Yeah.
I
see. Now, I'm sort of in that anomaly, really, because I do view box inserts as somewhat of a quality of life upgrade, but more so a protective upgrade. Because a game like that, for example, and I know that the game behind me, Station to Station, again, from Alley Cat Games, doesn't have a box insert. It's all rattling around in that in that box. And even from the trip from Germany to here, some things have got dinged and dented. In the box where it's been free to move. So for me, a box insert does work nicely as a protective thing and prolongs the life of my game. Having said that, there are certain box inserts as well that will add more so on that quality of life. Distilled is a good example. It's all very nicely laid out within the game. You can set things up nice and quickly. You've got in fact, we'll talk about Tower Up. That is a quality of life box insert. One, it keeps it nicely secure in the box, but the box insert is actually part of the game. You take it out, and it's then a stand that holds cards.
Yep.
So it has a quality of life aspect to it.
That is the kind of box insert where I lean, as good as it is, with its built-in functionality, those are the ones that I actually lean more towards necessity, because it's just vacuum form plastic, and that is going to perish and crack fairly quickly.
Yeah. See, I'll be interested to see if anyone will do an upgraded insert for that, because I it's the one thing I will say is annoying when it comes to inserts like that. They're usually very good, and I know you had this with your Nemesis game, where the vacuum form one does perish over time. It starts getting cracked, and Nemesis isn't too bad because there have been upgraded inserts, but there's a lot where games that come with good inserts, no third-party company bothers to create a new one, because it's like, well, it's got a good enough one anyway. We aren't going to sell anything. So in that instance, you kind of get caught in that grey area of, I really do feel that an upgraded box insert is a necessity, because this is seeing the table a lot, but I can't get one.
Yeah, see, because you mentioned the Nemesis one, and I'll briefly touch on the Tower Up one. The Nemesis one I found was actually very good quality plastic, but even mine it's not impacted its functionality yet, but up the side of one of the edges has started to crack.
Yes.
Of one of those trays, and it's lasted a fair old while before that started, but it has started. The one in Tower Up feels like it's quite, I don't want to say cheap,
flimsy,
very thin and flimsy. That will go a lot quicker.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with that. And to my knowledge, you're not into the whole box insert upgrades from what I've seen. I've not ever seen you use a third party one or an upgraded one.
I have a couple of the UV print ones.
Oh, okay.
But
yes, sorry, you do. Yeah.
I mean, and I have started the insert thing, because it was like with White Castle, for example, that's all just crunched into one thing, and then I found something on Etsy that divides it up a lot better and gets rid of all the baggies, like you said earlier.
Yeah.
So now I am slowly getting into that, because I've opened up a few of mine from Essen. Like Video Game Champion doesn't have one; it's all bagged up and stuff. I like to get one for that and whatnot. So no, I am getting into the but some of the deluxe editions now are coming with the trays and stuff now. Yeah. So that sort of avoids that way as well. So yeah,
there is also another positive to a box insert, which doesn't affect me very much, but is a bonus for the two of you who have like Kallax's storage solutions, is the box inserts actually pack the boxes out properly, so they're quite sturdy for when you slot them onto shelves.
Yeah, I would also agree with that.
Yeah, so they actually stop the box from sort of bending and deforming, because they properly pack out.
Yeah.
I don't know what the technical term is, but they equal pressure on all sides of the box, so you're not going to get it deforming.
You cut out the air from inside the inside
you get the box fart when you push the lid down.
Oh yeah, exactly. So we've talked about a fair few games there. We played Distilled last night, and it reminded me how much I really liked Distilled and all of that, the game and stuff. But I recently bought a custom playmat for it, and my God, did it change the gameplay? And it didn't change the gameplay, but to me it did, because everything was far more organised. It looked more visually appealing. So that was an upgrade that it didn't need. But then once I had it, I realised just how much of a necessity this was, to the point that I'm finding myself saying, why did the game not come with this?
We've said that from day one.
Or at least a broad version of it.
I was going to say, we said that about the Living Forest one as well, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly. Living Forest, that's another one. Like, what comes in the game is functional, but once you've played on the playmat that's got everything laid out properly and cuts the space down, it's like, this is actually a necessity now. I can't play this game without this mat.
And this is how all these companies are making money out of these, because they know these games require this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw a couple of Dune Imperium ones when we were in Essen, and it was like, that that needs, to be sold like
Do you know,
officially stuff as well.
One of the ones that stick in my mind, actually, as a necessity, and I would actually go as far to say it is 100% necessary, was Marvel United.
Yes.
It doesn't even come with a board. You've got to lay the cards out in like a circle, which without the mat is not the easiest to lay it out.
No way.
Yeah.
Especially as you then need to create another circle going around that of the cards that you're playing.
But if you're putting the cards too close to one another, then you're making that circle even longer, aren't you?
Yeah,
so you can't do that.
So I would say that game mat is actually necessary for that game.
I see. For Marvel United, yes, because it doesn't come with anything. For the other two games we've mentioned there, I'm going to go with no, not necessary. And as much as I agree with the both of you that they present everything in a much more organised fashion, because I agreed with that with Living Forest, I definitely agreed with it with Distilled, it does actually take away an element of flexibility for playing space, because all of those pieces that are on the playmat are individual boards in the base game, which means if your playing area is a little bit tight for space or an odd shape or sort of things, you've got a bit of flexibility, whereas once you've got the playmat, you need a playing area that fits the playmat, because if it folds over the edge of the table, half your layout is missing. So necessity, no. Quality of life, yes, if you got the space.
I never thought I'd say this, Ant, but I think James's new nickname might have to be the voice of reason.
Well, I haven't seen this playmat in front of me, so I can't really judge on that one.
This is very true.
So I'll agree with it for now, but I disagree in deep.
I will agree with you, James, to be fair, because, yes, if I'm lucky here, I've got a nice big table, right?
Yeah.
I didn't have a problem sticking with Distilled as it was, and this has shrunk everything down, which is great, but... like you said, there's not always a big table. It's not always a long table. That Distilled mat is quite long.
I was waiting for him to say however. So,
I would agree with you because, yes, sometimes you will have a smaller table. It's like, well, I can, Tetris the boards around the table so that we fit in a smaller space if I'm not using a designated playmat. So, you have a point. You do indeed have a point. You're wrong. But you have a point.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have that on recording. If he doesn't edit it out later.
I'm saying Distilled is quite a big game anyway. It would take up table space regardless. But I don't know. I've not seen this mat in person. So
yeah,
the end of the table.
I'm really
interested. It's got every single bit of it apart from your little. Board.
Obviously, your own player mat.
Yeah, it's on the play mat.
Right, okay.
It is.
I didn't realise it was that big.
Don't get me wrong. It is. If you've got the space for it, it is great and it is much more organised. But like I said, you lose that degree of modularity and flexibility in how you lay the table out because it's the mat.
Oh, I didn't realise it was that big.
Yeah, I'd be interested because obviously I've now ordered the neoprene playmat for Dynagenics when that comes out, which is a combined mat. So that's going to be of a fair size. But
that's going to
by all means,
it's going to take this whole table up.
They've already said that it's actually smaller footprint than the other boards. So I'm interested to see how they've done it. But we will see. Yeah. I'm very interested.
The problem I foresee is if they've shrunk the footprint, is that it's going to be hard on the eyes to actually see what's what. Would be my concern with that.
Yeah. Now, I want to slightly disagree with Ant a little bit because he brought up about Flamecraft earlier. And I bit my tongue a little bit here. Now, I do have the deluxe version. And I'm very happy I've got the deluxe version. I feel like I wouldn't want to play the retail version that much. However, there's certain parts of the deluxe version that I'm not so much of a fan of. It comes with miniatures. Luckily, it comes with the wooden meeple things, dragon heads as well. I've never once played with the miniatures.
Wow.
Because I don't think they suit the game. They're lovely miniatures.
Really?
Don't get me wrong.
I can't stand the wooden heads. It's
I much prefer those playing with the wooden dragon heads.
No, I just find them very tatty and very here, this is take the leftovers, That's how I feel on that. But
yeah, don't get me wrong.
You like what you like. So
the gold, the coins in it, the metal coins, 100%, they need to be in there because again, it's money. It needs to ching ching ching, when you're taking them. But yeah,
I mean, you're quite right. They aren't essential to the game. But if you're trying to bring a child into this, what are they going to pick at the end of the day? They're going to obviously pick the miniature and stuff. In order to get them to play it, that's what we got to play with. Yeah. But yeah, I just find them very basic for me for a wooden meeple. But it's wood in the end of the day. How basic can you get at the end of the day? But that's fair. But I understand.
Now, I wouldn't say that the miniatures, that upgrade, ruined a game for me. Have you ever seen an upgrade that's been done to a game where it ruined the game?
No.
No? So,
I can't, well, this is the question you asked, and honestly, I can't think of anything, to be honest.
No, I couldn't think of one where someone has upgraded from the base game and I've gone, you should have left it as it was.
Well, see, that's interesting. Now, I think that there has been one of those in the past, but I couldn't name it. And this is where I go back to what I was talking about earlier.
That's interesting. So one of us clearly owns it then. You're not going to mention it.
No, I'm getting there. Okay. I'm getting there. It's just where I go back to Dynogenics. Right, I did a sticker upgrade to Dynogenics. Right. Now, there are days that I feel, that was a good choice. But other days where I think, I've ruined the miniatures. Not miniatures, they're wooden animals. Yeah. I feel like I've ruined it a little bit and the aesthetic of it. To the point that I'm considering taking them off. But then I'm like, am I going to damage the painted wooden meeples and all that kind of stuff? I'm stuck in that quandary of I really don't know what to do at this point. Especially with now investing even more money into Dynogenics in the new version.
So what makes you feel that? Is it the design of the stickers?
It's the design of the stickers.
Okay.
Right, it is the design, because it's a bit more of a cartoon. It's the same sticker company I used for First Rat, and I love them. But it's a bit of a cartoony style. And I'm like, it kind of detracts from that sort of realistic Jurassic Park feel that I was hoping for. So, in a way, has it ruined the game? No, it hasn't ruined the game. Has it ruined the visuals of the game? Potentially I have. But as I say, that's on a day-to-day basis as to whether I like it or dislike it. There have been some games that have been released as deluxe versions and retail versions where I've actually said that the deluxe version for me has ruined my opinion of the game. Have you ever found a deluxe version that you think, no, do you know what? The retail version was better. What are you thinking? What about you?
I honestly can't think of it.
No, I couldn't think of one off the top of my head. But then again, I'm not also the kind of person, unless someone specifically states, who would actually ask, oh, is this the retail or the deluxe? It's just, it's a game.
Yeah. So for me, would be Pandasaurus's Skate Summer. I do not like the deluxe version of that game.
See, I haven't seen that, so I wouldn't know.
So that's the one that it comes with the miniatures of the skateboarders.
Okay.
And the retail actually comes with, I think, again, little wooden skateboarders.
Right.
Little wooden meeple skateboarders. And for me, yes, the miniatures are more detailed, they're bigger, all of that jazz. But they don't stand up on their own the majority of the time. They're constantly falling over. And they just don't look right on the board. They look totally out of place.
Okay.
And it breaks my immersion in the game. And I can't tell you why, because I can't pinpoint why. But I just really do not like that as an upgrade at all.
You've already pinpointed it for me just from the description. It's like if the miniature keeps falling over, that's going to irritate the hell out of you by the end of the first turn. Yeah. If you have to keep picking the miniature up and standing it up again.
Yeah, and obviously when it falls over, it could knock tokens about and stuff. It's just it's an irritating upgrade that they've made,
that they've not thought the sculpt through, basically.
Yeah. So that's what it doesn't. The game is the game; it doesn't change. But
when you've got pieces that won't stand up, your anxiety would just build up. And stand up already.
I just find myself sitting there going, "Can we play with the?
Can we just get the normal stuff out?
Can we play with the normal stuff instead?"
Yeah, because back in my Warhammer days, or like early Warhammer days, they had a ton of more particularly the metal or pewter miniatures. If they were in an odd pose and they never stood up, and like even if I owned them, after a while I stopped using them, even if they were really good characters, because I'm not picking this thing up every turn.
Yeah,
because they've modelled him with his sword sticking out, and that means that every time you like even slightly nudge it or move it, he just falls over because he's forward heavy, and it used to annoy me and break the immersion of the game. So I fully understand that one.
Okay. So I want to backtrack just a little bit because I wanted to talk to James about Nemesis.
Yep.
Right. Now, Nemesis is already quite a good production of a game, but there are upgrades for Nemesis. As we'll call it your only game for quite some time.
Yep.
What was your reason for not upgrading it? Because you were openly saying, this is my favourite game of all time. I love this game. I would do anything for this game. But you never took that step to upgrading it. What was the reason you didn't?
Okay, so I never bought a box insert for it because I thought the one it came with was pretty damn good.
Yep.
And still is. Like I said, I've owned that game for a fair few years now.
Yep.
And the plastic is only just starting to go. So a box insert might not be far off on the horizon, but I just didn't feel it was necessary. It's like it holds everything in place. It is designed with each component in mind. There is no loose components in there whatsoever. So that was one. I toyed with some of the visual upgrades, like the 3D doors, the 3D escape pods, and all that kind of stuff. I just never pulled the trigger on them because the standees, again, are perfectly serviceable in that game.
Yeah.
But I think the basic thing of it, as much as I love it, we've both agreed that it's one of those games that comes out for special occasions. I don't want to play it regularly because I don't want to get bored of it. But I think that's the main reason I haven't invested in upgrading it, is because we've made that decision that we don't want to bring it out that often.
Yeah. Now, Ant, you obviously had Nemesis.
Yes.
You had the 3D doors, didn't you?
I did. I had those. I had the sentry guns. I had the cryopods, the escape pods, all of it.
Would you say that they were necessary upgrades and that James is an idiot for not upgrading to those?
So I would like to go against James on this, but he's right. It just felt like it's a component piece for fans of the genre.
Yeah.
But they aren't necessary if you're bringing new people to it. I mean, if you want to show off of it, maybe, but I barely got those out at all. Yeah. And I kind of felt, like I wasted a bit of money on that one, to be fair, on those ones anyway, those add-ons.
Okay.
I have actually thought of another reason as well.
Okay, go for it.
It's to do with the box insert, and it's the domino effect of upgrades.
Mm-hmm.
If I want the upgraded pieces, the box insert it comes with is designed for the standees. You wouldn't be able to put them in. And much like yourself, I am not a fan of multiple boxes carting them around. I want everything in one box. So if I buy the upgraded pieces, it dominoes into, well, now I need a box insert.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and that is obviously another question that I'm now going to ask, because James has nicely walked us into that.
Oh, unintentional segue.
Genuinely was. I wasn't expecting that, but seeing as though you've done it, unintentional segue it is. Is that something when you upgrade a game, Ant, that you have to really think about? Because I know, again, with me, I'm so obsessed. If it doesn't fit back in the same box, then that usually will put me off. Neoprene mats are excluded from that because I store them separately. They're actually on my door as you come into the game room in the studio.
What? Because that's not actually designed for neoprene mats. I've always meant to ask you, what was that thing's original purpose?
I cannot remember.
Because I know you repurposed it because it was like, that will hold neoprene mats.
Yes. Yeah, I'd have to remember. I think it's like for art posters and stuff like that. But yeah. Is that something that you factor in when you are looking at upgrading a game? Like, I think off the top of my head, I think of the Czech Games one.
Lost Runes of Arnak.
That's it. I think of your Lost Runes of Arnak.
Yeah.
Which you have upgraded.
Yeah, and it's all in one box, yeah.
Yeah. Was that something you had to factor in, though, when you were looking at the upgrades? Because you've upgraded tokens?
So the base game comes with some tokens already upgraded, like the rubies and the arrow pieces.
Yeah.
I upgraded the compasses, the books, and the coins.
Do you feel that was something that should have been in there to start with?
It's really weird because, once again, it's money, and that was just cardboard, and then you've got... Why have those upgraded, but then the other pieces aren't? It just felt a bit weird.
It seems where they've only gone half the distance really, with the upgrades.
Yeah, and they've never done it. I had to get the other upgrades for a 3D printing company. So, but where James is talking about carrying extra boxes and stuff, I don't think that part bothers me. I think the storage side of it is what bugs me, because, again, we've only got so much space of it, and I don't want 1/4 of a Kallax going just to
one game.
On one game. That's ridiculous. But then when you kind of factor games like we spoke about it before, Marvel United, for example. We have different characters from different parts of Marvel.
Yeah.
If you had that all in one box, you would be going forever looking for specific characters. So I think to a degree on that side of it, that's probably helpful to have them in singular boxes.
Yeah.
Like if I want a Guardians of the Galaxy, right, I'll take the Guardians of the Galaxy box, for example.
Yeah.
But a lot of companies now are doing the big storage box now with their Kickstarters.
Yeah.
Terrascape's doing one now where you can put all the expansions all in one now. Robot Quest Arena's doing one now where everything all goes in one box. So I think these companies are seeing James's point of view now that people just don't want to carry boxes everywhere. If it can be in one box, then it's doable.
Yeah. See, I mean, that is obviously, it's another air quote upgrade, isn't it? Right.
Yeah.
Because the companies are not including these as part of, you're buying the box or you're buying the game, we're going to give you the bigger box now. It's like, no.
But not everyone is expanding on it.
Now we need to sell the box as an addition, which I have no problem with, to get an official box that's bigger so it can store stuff in. I like that. When we were in Essen, you got to witness the Laser Rocks stand for the first time. Where they had their own big box solutions.
Yeah.
That were all laser
My
cut
goodness, I was so tempted. It was unreal.
But, do you reckon that's something that you would ever look into if you had those games that you feel would benefit?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with Cthulhu Death May Die stuff.
Yeah.
That I would love to. I even asked those guys if they had a big storage thing for it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they needed Mansions of Madness. So hopefully in the future, if they do one, I probably would consider trying to get them all into one.
Yeah, I've got to admit, I've not bought into any of those yet because I've never had the games that require such epic stuff. Like they do a Scythe one, but it kind of requires you to have literally everything that Scythe has ever printed. All of the upgrades and all of that, which I don't have. So it's not necessary.
It's a legendary box, eat your heart out.
Yeah, exactly. When it makes the Scythe legendary box look like
but then
child's play, then
they had the Lost Ruins of Arnak one, which I was tempted, but then CGE announced that they've got a prototype for essentially a legendary box for Lost Ruins of Arnak. Yeah. So I was like, oh wait, I'll see what that box is like. Yeah. And if that's not good, then I'll buy the
do you think that they're going to go all guns blazing on that and upgrade the nuts off of Lost Ruins, or do you reckon it's just going to be everything we've made in a big box?
I think there was one extra bit, which was a new board, but I don't know if that's going to be a new part of the game or if it's just a new board with different layouts.
Yeah, like a new expansion or something.
Yeah, but the only way I think you can get that board is if you buy the box, so it's not a reason to get it, isn't it? So another way to, FOMO you in.
Yes, indeed. So, let me just... So, we're getting towards the end of the episode now, guys. Are there any other upgrades that stand out to you that you want to talk about, or ones that you think might be...
So I was going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
So obviously, massive Legendary fan.
Yes.
Respect to you, sir. Would you consider dividers for that game?
I already have them.
As an upgrade?
Yes.
Because I can't go through mine without dividers.
No, they are... Again, for me, when you've got a collection of that size... and I think this works with things like Magic the Gathering. You've got big amounts of cards, stuff like that. You need some kind of, again, it's a quality of life thing, right? It's like, well, you've got thousands of cards, and if you've got dividers that are very clearly labeled as to what is what, it makes setting up the game so much easier. Or even, like in the case of Legendary, for example, James, you played with us a few times, and I've just sort of gone, what characters do you want? Open the box, there they all are laid out. You can clearly see who's who. They've got all the symbols on for that character, so you know what will synergize with others.
Yeah. Because they come with dividers, but they're not like labeled dividers, are they? That's Yeah,
you actually saying that segues into, I suppose, we've very much focused, obviously, because it's the area we're playing at the moment, we're very much focused on board game upgrades. But you mentioning about dividers means that obviously for your TCG players, you've got things like card folders like we used to have for our Pokemon cards, those nice leather-bound booklets that have the sort of, I think you get about 9 cards per page, and they've got multiple things for as storage solutions.
Little storage book things.
Yeah, we've spoken about board game inserts for storage solutions, but then deck boxes could be classed as an upgrade for your role players. That upgraded dice,
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff for your war gamers. You know, how many like upgrades are there for war gamers? I mean, let's not even delve into that mess.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother episode, folks.
You could do a whole episode just on war game upgrades.
Yeah, there's plenty of those.
Yeah.
So many upgrades. And I think it's big business as well.
Yeah, but to circle back to the original question, most of them enhance gameplay, but I still don't think they are necessary or essential.
Yeah. So if I'll be interested to see, because I don't think the answers are going to have changed since the start of the episode. We've had this topical discussion. You've heard everyone's points, Ants. Do you view board game upgrades as necessary? Or is it situation dependent?
It's tough because we've all made our points and they're all really good. I still stand by my yes for me.
Yeah.
Because that's me. Because I always want to upgrade.
Yeah.
Not all my games upgrade, but I can't afford all my games to be upgraded at the end of the day. I only pick the ones that I really want to bring people to the table with and stuff.
Yeah.
But again, I suppose they aren't, but for me they are. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
So I agree with what everyone says at the end of the day, but I'm just one of those guys where if someone's going to offer me a deluxe edition, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Hands down.
So I'm going to guess, James, you're going to still be in the camp of, no, it's not necessity.
I'm going to, seeing as you just said it there, I'm going to change to situational and personal preference.
Yeah.
Because
that's what I was trying to get at.
There are cases where I said, you know, with Autobahn, with the box insert, I was actually leaning more towards essential because it is just loose components in a baggie. So it's actually, in that case, it almost was essential, and I bought the box insert at the same time I bought the game after going, well, that needs that.
Yeah.
So, but it is very situational. But most of the ones that people tend to go to, which is the flashy visual upgrades, I still say absolutely not essential. The games come with all the components. They are perfectly playable. Yeah. It is down to the individual person's taste and budget as to whether they fancy upgrading it.
Yeah.
Also, sorry, go on.
I've also, we touched on at the end of the episode, like the other types of games. It's like, it's the same as when me and you had miniatures games, Jason. It's like, we both had lovely, very expensive battle foam cases.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen people rock up to the gaming club with it inside a box lid.
Yeah.
Their miniatures wrapped in kitchen towel.
Yeah.
So, and it works. Yeah. I wouldn't risk my very expensive miniatures in that regard, but it works for a lot of people.
I mean, talking about that as an upgrade, is that for me is a necessary upgrade, is a traveling upgrade. You need something to transport it.
Yeah.
But what level
we haven't
upgrade it to is the other question.
It's not, I suppose it's not strictly an upgrade, a board game upgrade, but it is at the same time, which we haven't touched on at all, is like, you have a very nice board game bag to transport all your things. I've seen people rocking up to game days in a Sainsbury's bag.
Yeah.
Is it essential? No. Personal preference.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I hadn't even factored in, transport, to be honest with you. And that is indeed an upgrade, because if you are transporting games, I would say it is necessity. Because, in the UK, we're going to go outside, it's going to pee it down at a moment's notice. And if you're carrying a big box full of cardboard does not fare well against the weather in any way, shape or form. It doesn't fare well against water, and it doesn't fare well against humidity. So no matter where you are in the world, that is an upgrade, isn't it? Is looking after. Kallax shelves, you could look at that as an upgrade. It's an upgrade for my storage at my house. A game table, that's an upgrade.
That is essential.
You know what I mean? A game table is an upgrade. The pictures I've got on the wall of Meeples, that's an upgrade. I'm creating an upgraded atmosphere for playing the games. There's so many things you could look at and go, this is a board game upgrade. Is it related to the board game? No. Is it necessity? No. But I am still firmly in the camp of halfway between you guys of situational for me. There's certain games that I love to pieces. Ark Nova is one of them. Does it need upgrading? No. Have I upgraded it? Yes, because it's one of my favourite games of all time.
Another reason.
I want to have it the best it can be. Distilled is also one of my favourite games of all time. Have I upgraded everything on that? No, because it doesn't need it. Whereas Art Nova was just missing that little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted that 3D verticality to the board, and I get that with Distill. It's not really needed, the 3D aspect, but I did upgrade the mat, and I feel like it's done. Other games, I'm sure there's some that I would look at and go, I can't play this game unless it's better. But if I'm looking at a game in that way, am I going to upgrade it, or am I just not going to bother because there's other games out there that don't need that upgrade? So is it necessity? I will sit in the camp of no, it's not necessity, but sometimes it is. So situational, I think. Yeah. We have upgraded. We've upgraded James's though. He didn't stand his ground. He upped it to situational. I think we succeeded.
We kind of got there.
But
I think everyone's in the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just after that conversation. Yeah, it's midway, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, but to a degree, yes.
Yeah. Do it if you want to do it. Don't if you don't.
Yeah. Or if you can't afford it.
Another wasted hour talking about something that we haven't changed. Yeah. That's what Topicals are all about. But we've had a good conversation anyway. Did you enjoy talking about it? That's the question. It's
nice to hear other people's opinions on it and stuff. So,
does it make you feel better about your somewhat neoprene problem?
No. I have a problem, and it'll always be a problem.
James, you know that Nemesis comes with a neoprene mat, right?
Yes.
Are you gonna
is it double-sided? Because the board's double-sided.
Yes, it is. Yeah, they all are.
It's a really nice mat.
I think the only one that isn't will be the new one, Retaliation, because it's just you put the pieces on, don't you?
Yeah, because it's modular, isn't it? Yeah. I saw the game mat that I bought for Galactic Cruise the other day. It's a neoprene mat.
I didn't know there was one for it.
There is, and it's got cutouts in it.
Nice
for slotting things in. So it's you've essentially got the dual layer board effect on a neoprene mat.
Oh my god!
Oh,
someone give me a pillow.
It's it sounds cool,
but however,
it's the first one I've ever seen. Again, to be the damper on it,
it's going to have the same issue as I've already looked at and gone,
Oh, interesting. We'll see. If it's got cutouts, is it going to fray?
Yeah.
Would be my concern.
Yeah.
It's like it's an interesting concept, and I hope they've planned and reinforced it.
When you look at games like Destiny's and Too Many Bones, they have those mats, and they only keep using mats. So there must be issue resolved on that aspect of it. Otherwise, they wouldn't keep doing it, would they? So
true.
But we'll see.
We will see when that eventually turns up next year.
Yeah,
can't wait. Looking forward to that. But shall we head off for today? I'm sure Ant wants to go home to bed because I'm sure you've got work early in the morning.
Yes.
James, you've probably not got work early in the morning, but you're probably still going to go home to bed anyway.
Not as early as I could have work, but I still have work early.
Okay, fair enough. I've got a nice easy day tomorrow, which makes a nice change. It won't be easy tomorrow, I guarantee, but as it currently stands, I've got an easy day tomorrow, so we shall see. Gaming for me this weekend. Are you guys going to be getting any gaming in? Hopefully, maybe.
No, I gamed at the beginning of the week, and that was it. So, and then I'm working the rest of the weekend. So, I got my gaming on Monday. That was it.
We'll see. We'll see how tired you are on Sunday. I might pop over and get some more games in Sunday evening. But we'll see how it goes. Maybe drag James along. I don't think you work Sunday evenings now, do you?
I don't know. I haven't seen got my rota for the weekend yet.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. We'll let you off then. All right. Well, I guess until next time, we should say goodbye. So until then, I have been Jason.
I have been James.
I've been Ant.
And you have been listening to the Meeple Minded. Join us next time for more tabletop gaming goodness. Ta-ta and goodbye.